Hi everyone, Robin here, and this is my full playthrough of the Scarlet Violet DLC Part 2, the Indigo Disc. As you may recall, I did post Part 1 of the DLC a while ago, but those eventually was in 3 videos and they were having a bit more substance. However, in this one, I decided instead of having multiple long videos with just a little cut in them, I decided to play through the entire game and condense all the most important story elements into this one video. So now let's begin with what happened during my first playthrough from the Indigo disc. It began with me getting a call as the first one went, so I headed back to the academy and I found the director of the Blueberry Academy, Director Crayon, but I accidentally pronounced it Professor Crayon.
Yes, Director Crayon.
Apparently it was gonna be a trade exchange program, which alright, and I immediately headed over to Blueberry Academy. So we headed to Blueberry Academy, and I immediately was introduced to one of the Blueberry Academy Elite 4 member, Lacey. Rhino decided to ask her to show me around because apparently he is a bumbling buffoon. He was not at all about it, and he just did an X sign with her hand. That's fun. I was going forward, but then I couldn't move on. One thing about this DLC is that every battle is a double battle, and that is something that I doesn't usually do. In Pokemon playthrough, you usually encounter single battles and not double battles, so required me to having 2 Pokemon in my party. However, at the time, I didn't have any other Pokemon in the party, except for one, the shiny Gift Lucario. A few days before the DLC came out, there was an announcement for a shiny Lucario coating, and I decided to get that one because I wanted to try to play through the Indigo disc with a completely new team. But since I haven't been able to catch a Pokemon yet, that means I was limited to only my Pokemon I have. So I added on Captain Duck just for this first few battles, and once I have obtained some new Pokemon, I was be able to replace them. The third battle unfortunately went a little bad because I'm just not that used to double battle. It required me to revive one of my Pokemon, but since she used 3, it basically like I'm using 3 as well, so it should work. Anyways, after that battle, I was able to hit down to the terrarium. Immediately I was trying to go to one of the classes, but I was not going to do that. Instead, I was heading out in search for Pokemon I could add onto the team. While I was doing that, I ran into a Brava and I caught it and decided to use it on the team. Flagon is a really cool Pokemon and I decided to try to use it. Took a while before I could probably give it a nickname, but eventually I named it Vibrano. After that, I moved on and eventually reached my way into the canyon biome. While traversing, I eventually got my way into Charstone Cavern, which is basically this version of Charstone Cave. Here I also was able to get myself another new member right away, that being a Joltik. I never used a Galvantula before, but I decided, hey, why not give it a shot? I named the first one I had didn't have exactly what I wanted, so I called myself another one, and this one I named Sir Jolt. Then I also managed to enter the polar biome, and actually here I also call myself a Solosis because I wanted to try to use a real Nicholas because I never used one before and I wanted to give it a shot. So I caught it and I named it Soul because of its Solosis. And while I was also in the polar biome, I also called myself an Alolan Vulpix, which I thought I might decide to use because I haven't used an Alolan Ninetales before and why not give it a shot. I named it Snow Guy, and while traversing through the mountains, I also eventually found myself a Duraludon. Before the Indigo disc came out, I knew that I wanted to use the Duraludon's newest evolution, Archaludon. So I was eager to get one as quick as I could to eventually get the evolution item required. I was able to getting it, eventually it got the nickname of Cannon because, well, it has a humongous cannon. After doing all of those things, eventually I got my way to the first class, and it was just to show off an Alola form, and I had already caught myself an Alola Geodude earlier, so I just showed off that and was good to go. After the class, I immediately headed to the central battlefield where I met up with Carmen again, and it was time for another battle. In some of these double battle scenarios, I have to challenge them a couple of more times, but since I do not want to waste time, I'm gonna pretty much explain my main strategy during those battles and explain how the final attempt went when I actually succeeded. During my first battle against Carmine, I unfortunately lost due to I not have properly trained my team all the way and not even fully evolving most of them. During my first attempt, I unfortunately fell. However, during my second one, by using more Pokemon that have super effective stab, I was able to defeat her, but it did take a couple of tries. After the battle, I managed to get a glimpse on Kira and he has gone crazy. Yeah, he got emo and a bit over the edge, but that was what we all expected. Later on, I met Drayton, and he pretty much introduced me to the BB League. In the club room, he also apparently wanted me to a cafeteria date, which is just. And Carmine seemed to be quite upset with that. Is it because she doesn't like him, or she's jealous? Who knows? Anyways, after that, I headed over there and met up with all the Elite Four members. And apparently they needed to take a vote to allow me to entering because I'm an exchange student and all that. The girls voted against me while the guys voted with me and couldn't allow me to entering, meaning I am now allowed to enter the BB League. After that, I went back into the terrarium in order to obtain another Pokemon that I had never used before, but I really wanted to try using. That being Chestnut. I really wanted to use the Chestnut, but I never got it yet before. And now, with all the stars available in the Indigo disc, I thought, why don't give it a shot? This was unfortunately something I did not know how to do. I didn't really look it up, so I didn't know that you had to spend BB points in order for you to access the starters in each different area. But since I still wanted to use Chestnut, I eventually got myself one by other means. First trying to get one from Pokemon Go, but since I didn't have one in Pokemon Go, I eventually traded with someone that had gotten a Chespin from Pokemon Go. Then after transferring the Chespin into Pokemon Scarlet, I evolved it first into Quilladin and then into Chestnut. I didn't give it a nickname right away, but eventually will be known as Night Green, and I then later realized I should probably just have named it Green Knight because I mistakenly called it Green Knight multiple times. Of the different trials, I decided to head for the steel one first because I knew that was the one which would allow Koraidon to fly, and I just wanted to fly around a little bit on my Koraidon friend. The trial itself, it wasn't that difficult. It felt like I had a little bit too much time on my hand, but I eventually worked it out, so I was able to win. This one took pretty much. This was probably the one I had to do the most retries of because my team wasn't really fully all the way trained up yet. I used different strategies during this time around, and I managed to get a couple of things in. I managed to get enough blueberry points to buy myself the metal alloy, which allowed me to evolve Cannon into Archarodon. And I like this Pokemon. She lived with her Skarmory and Alolan Dictrio, and for this attempt I lived with Vibrano and Snowgap. My main strategy here was trying to get rid of the trio as quick as I could because its steel typing was always a bit of a problem, and it was also one of the faster Pokemon that she had. Luckily, with the focus dash and Charger Snowgap, I could survive at least one Iron Head, so I could use the Choice Spec Power Flamethrower on the trio. However, due to its focus dash, it survived. But unfortunately, Snowgap flamed on that turn. But then Skarmory went for a Stealth Frog. Since Snowgap was going to fall on this turn, I decided I wanted to try to preserve it as much as I could. And knowing they were going to go for another Iron Head, I swapped it to Cannon, and since I was already locked in, I decided to finish up the trio as quick as I could. Cannon immediately took some Stealth Rock damage as the trio went for an Iron Head, however it did quite a ton. Mainly because it was a crit, but then we got the stamina boost, and then Vibrano finished up the trio with a flamethrower. Then Skarmory went for a body press, and it got Cannon all the way to 12 HP, which is just crazy. After that, they swapped into Empoleon, and I decided to just go for an Electro Shot on Cannon, and I decided to use Vibrano's turn to fully heal Cannon, just so he could take whatever attacks are coming next. I started to charging up the Electro Shot, and since I had quite a power up onto it, as quick as I got the special attack boost, I was able to fire off the Electro Shot right away, straight into that oversized penguin. And it was able to get it all the way down to red HP as Skarmory went for another body press, which didn't get me over half, giving me another stamina boost, as Empoleon went for an Ice Beam, finishing out Vibrano. I was pivoting around, but I decided to go into Chestnut because I had a pretty solid thought. Since I had a pretty solid shot that both of these Pokemon are going to aim at Chestnut because that's what they're super effective at, I decided to go for another Electro Shot to boost my special attack, as Chestnut set up a spiky shield which will be able to protect against damage, but also if they landed a physical move, it will be able to cause damage. Skarmory was the first one who went for a double wind speed, as I predicted, on Night Green, and immediately took some damage from Spike, as Empoleon went for Ice Beam, also on Night Green, which it was able to block. Maybe using a body press on Empoleon in order to finishing it off, and I decided to go for it as Cannon fired off Electroshock, which immediately one-shot to Skarmory. Luckily, Chestnut then went for his body press and was able to take out Empoleon, taking down half of her team, with having 5 of us still remain. Well, technically only 4 since one of us is pretty bad shape, but hey, this is definitely one of the better attempts I've done. The next Pokemon she sent in were Reuniclus and Scizor, being another pretty solid duo. I decided to fire off another Electroshot on Scizor, thinking that Reuniclus wouldn't be too much of a problem. As I felt like both gonna target Chestnut again, I went for another Spiky Shield, expecting them both to go for super effective stab. Scizor went for Aerial Ace, I predicted on Night Green, which caused it to get a little bit of damage in, as then Reuniclus went in for a Psychic, which also they target as Night Green. Since they are probably going to take out Chestnut on this turn, and I did not really have much of another Pokemon I wanted to switch in, I decided to use the full restore in order to heal up Snow Guy, just because I thought it would be the more smarter off. Cannon then went for the Electroshot, finishing off the Scizor, giving me a lot of momentum. As then Reuniclus went for Psychic, luckily, unfortunately, Night Green taking it out, but it done an amazing job this far. As now it was 2 against 4, and we had a pretty solid option. He then sent in her 8th Metagross as I brought Snow Guy back in, and since these Pokemon are both quite slow, I went for an Electroshock, and for Snow Guy, I went for Rain Dance, because if you know your moves, you know Electroshock will always fire off right away if it is used in rain. I could probably heal the Pokemon with Drizzle and got rain right away, but I didn't think of it at the time. And I really want to use Alolan Ninetales, so here we go. Luckily, Snowgirl was able to get the Rain Dance off right away, and then Cannon charged up the Electroshock, then adding on a really powerful electric move, plus multiple special attack moves on a Pokemon with high special attack, giving her right away, leading to incredible power, which almost took out Metagross. Metagross then went for one of the newest move, Hard Press, which unfortunately caused Snow Guy to faint at last, but now I had a pretty good off. However, Reuniclus then set up a Trick Room, which is gonna be tricky. I decided to go into Soul since it definitely was one of my slowest Pokemon. For this, I went for an Electroshot on the Reuniclus because Metagross could easily be defeated by pretty much any move Soul had. So I decided to go for the Shadow Ball on Metagross because that was the smart. Luckily, my Reuniclus outsped their Reuniclus and Metagross fell. Then I powered another rain boosted Electroshot, and I think we all can pretty much figuring out how this battle turned out. Kaboom! The victory over that one was definitely one of my favorites that happened, and the victory on this very day felt extra special because all of these were recorded on my birthday. Happy birthday to me! Afterwards, I decided to head over to Lazy's Trial. While I did have a few Pokemon that are weak to fairies, it was the same amount of Pokemon I had that was weak to the fire one, so I felt like I might as well go for one of these two. So I went for the fair one first. After heading there and getting caught up by a few Pokemon on the way, the trial revealed itself to be a quiz. And I felt confident with that because I'm a Pokemon YouTuber. That leads me to knowing a lot about Pokemon. While most of these questions were alright, some of them was odd, to say the least.
I like want to know which part she likes to use a pillow. No one ever used a pillow?
Anyways, I managed to answer all the questions and it was time to take on Lacy. Lacy led with her Whimsicott and Gramble, and for this one I went for Snowguy and Cannon on the first turn. My main goal here was to try to get rid of Whimsicott first because it can set up Light Screen and Tailwind, which gonna cause problems. So I went for Flash Cannon on Cannon and Blizzard on Snowguy, which hit both of them. Whimsicott immediately set up a Light Screen, which was just problematic. Snowguy then went for Blizzard, which did pretty good shot to Whimsicott and somewhat damage to Gramble. Then Cannon fired off a flash cannon, which was able to take Whimsicott out, so you do not have to worry about Tailwind shenanigans. Then Gramble decided to go for a Stomping Tantrum, which got Cannon down low, but that gave us a stamina boost. He then swapped into Primarina, and I decided to use Electroshock on Primarina in order to get the special attack boost as quick as I could. But since we were probably going to fall, I decided to use a max potion to heal up cannons, just so it could charge up in peace. And as quick as we got the special attack boost, we absorbed the power of the power herb and delivered a fearsome blow of Electroshock straight to Primarina, which managed to get it below half. Primarina then went for a Moonblast on Cannon, but it got it all the way down to 20 HP. And then Gramble went for a Stomping Tantrum, taking out Cannon. Owie. I wanted to get rid of Primarina quickly, so I swapped it to Night Green. Since I gave it a Choice Scarf, it will be able to outspeed and go for Seed Bomb. However, on Snowgate turn, I went for a Revive on Cannon in order to get it to fully health. Night Green went for Seed Bomb, which was able to take down Primarina, as then Gramble went for Play Rod, which took out Night Green right away. He then swapped into Slowbro, and I decided to swap into Souls because I didn't want Slowbro to be problematic as it had been before. I went for Blizzard on Snowgate, which didn't do too much to them, as Gramble landed a Fire Punch, which was able to get Snowgate very low. Soul then went for the Shadow Ball, which did somewhat damage to Slowbro, but also got a special defense drop. Then Slowbro went for a Shell Sidearm, which got Soul to a little over half. I decided to go for another Shadow Ball, so I decided to hit up Snowgate because I wanted to set up Rain Dance just so I could have that up when Cannon came back in. Gramble then went for Play Route, which was able to take down Soul, as Slowbro went for another Shell Sidearm, which completely obliterated Snow Guy. But on the same turn, Light Screen were off, so I swapped into Surge Jolt and Cannon because those were definitely faster than her current Pokemon. However, since Cannon was very low on HP, I decided to heal it while I went for a Flash Cannon to finish out Gramble as quick as I could. Gramble immediately got hit by a crit and was immediately defeated, but apparently Lacey said it's just not right to hit Pokemon with a crit. That is just ridiculous. Crits have been a thing since Gen 1. Slowbro then went for Ice Beam on Cannon, which only brought us to half, giving me pretty good luck. Then decided to sweep into her Alcremie, which has been a pure nightmare for multiple turns. I decided to use Electro Ball on Slowbro, just trying to get it off here quickly, as I also decided to Terrestrialize Cannon in order to get Flash Cannon to do more and hopefully take out Alcremie in just one blast. So Jolt moved first and Electro Ball almost took out Slowbro, getting it all the way to red HP. Then Cannon went for a Flash Cannon, which was able to do humongous damage to Alcremie, but still left it in yellow. Alcremie then went for an Alluring Voice on Cannon, which got it down to yellow, as we got another stamina boost. Slowbro then went for a Shell Sidearm, doing solid damage to Sir Jolt. While I could go for an attacking move on Sir Jolt turn, I decided to use it to heal up Cannon because it was always a possibility that Slowbro's Quick Draw would be activated. And I decided to finish off Alcremie right away, and just like predicted, Quick Draw got activated as I was able to use a Max Potion to get Cannon all the way back up to full. But because of Quick Draw, Slowbro moved first and hit Cannon with a Flamethrower, which did less than half because of the rain. I didn't realize it was the rain at the time, but that we'll talk about later. Cannon then finished up Alcremie with a Flash Cannon, giving me pretty solid momentum, as he then swapped into Excadrill. I decided to use Electro Ball on Slowbro in order to finish it off as quick as I could, and since I knew Excadrill gonna get translated into a Fairy type, I decided to go for Electroshock, since it would not, just to get more special attack boost. Yes, I predicted Lacey Terrestrialized Excadrill, and apparently he called it cute, but I don't see the reason. Unfortunately, Quick Draw got activated once again, so Slowbro landed on the Flamethrower on Cannon, getting us down to yellow HP, as we got another stamina boost, but that doesn't go as special attack. However, then Excadrill went for a high horsepower, which managed to take down Sir Jolt. Cannon then was charging up another Electroshot, and since we were doing this in the ring, we managed to fire off another Electroshot We managed to land an Electroshot on Excadrill, which was able to get it almost all the way to half. And the very same turn the rain ended, as I swapped into Vibrano. I decided to use Vibrano's turn to heal up Cannon because it was going to fall on any attack, and Cannon was definitely my best option at this point. Slowbro once again went for the Quick Draw, seriously, how much can Quick Draw go for? It feels like any time Quick Draw gets activated, it just keeps going. Slowbro then for Flamethrower, but without the range to lower the damage, we got all the way down to red, as we just got another stamina boost, which doesn't help right now. However, Extra managed to be faster than Vibrano, which was able to land a very tight boosted Terra Blast, which was able to take on Flygon, which took out Flygon, leaving me only with one Pokemon remaining here right now. However, then Cannon went for a Terra boosted Flash Cannon, which was able to take Executor out, but this one was not the best. The following turn had me healing up Cannon multiple times until Slowbro managed to lower the amount again with Flamethrower. And this continued on for a while until I revived Slow, healed it up as they only went for Shell Sidearm, as I then managed to finish it off with a Shadow Ball, winning my second battle against an Elite Four member. 2 done, 2 to go. It was time to take on the Fire one, and apparently I needed to make a sandwich. I had never been much of a sandwich maker prior to the DLC, but hey, what do you know? It took a while, but eventually I managed to get all the ingredients I needed, and it became a very spicy sandwich. Props to me, I completely destroyed this guy's taste bud, and he's not angry about it at all. For some reason, this guy liked to frying his quick balls. I don't recommend doing that. Quick balls are great, but not for digestion. Anyway, he leveled Talonflame and wrote Heat Form, and I went for Vibrano and Snowgag. I equipped the Focus Band on Vibrano, and I went for Rock Slide to deliver a ton of damage. As for Snowgag, I went for Rain Dance to nerf the power of their fire moves. Their Talonflame was faster and set up the sun, however, but that is good because now we're slower and we can start rain. And Rotom went for Will-O-Wisp on Snowgag, which does not matter because we are special. Because Snowgag is a special attacker, not physical. Then Snowgag set up the rain, causing a lot of beautiful rainfall. And then Vibrano went for Rock Slide, which was able to do a ton of damage, however was not able to finish Talonflame due to its Focus Sash. I went for another Rock Slide, and I decided to switch out Snowgag in case I wanted to set the rain back up again. And I didn't have many Pokemon that could resist fires, so I decided to swap into Soul since it was pretty much the best option I had. But then Talonflame set up the sun, which I should probably have thought about. The Rotom were Hex on Soul, but Brown then landed on a Rock Slide, which able to take on Talonflame and got the Rotom down to half. Then he sent it in Executor as Rotom landed the Will-O-Wisp burning Vibrano. But it was still enough to take out Rotom, but the damage done to Executor was pretty pathetic. Then Executor was able to fire up a Solar Beam right away because of the sun, and he aimed it at Vibrano, which was able to take it at only 45 HP, as Soul fired off a Shadow Ball, which was able to get Executor almost to half. Vibrano took some more burn damage, as then he swapped into Camerupt. I decided to heal off Vibrano, and I also decided to switch into Snowgag, which will prevent Executor to fire off Solar Beam right away. And just like I predicted, it tried to go for Solar Beam, but it couldn't because of the sun. Then Camera, however, Heatwave was able to do a lot of damage to Snowgag, and it got some more burn damage. And I decided to switch into Cannon because Solar Beam was coming, and Cannon was definitely the one that had the best chance of surviving. And I decided to heal up Snowgag to get rid of burn, just because I wanted to be able to set up Rain again, which will be better repaired with Cannon. Executor fired up a Solar Beam, and as I predicted, it hit Cannon, and it barely did anything. Camera then went for another Heat Wave, which got Cannon down to half and burned it, as Snowgag was back to half. We got another stamina boost because of it, but the burn kept me get low. I was thinking of what I should do, and I decided that my best course of action was to heal up Cannon and go for another Rain Dance, just so we would lower the power of their fire moves. But then I realized I went for max exposure and not a full restored, which would have been way smarter to go for because I could get rid of burn. But burn wasn't really that big of a problem because it's a special attacking Pokemon and we don't use physical moves. But then I said went with Side Shock, taking out Snowgag, so now we won't be able to set up the rain back up. As Camerupt then went for a Heat Wave. However, thanks to the rain, it did way less this time around, and we got another stamina boost because of it. After that, I swapped into Sir Jolt since I knew that it was the fastest Pokemon I had, and I will be able to finish up Executor very quickly with a 4x super effective Bug Buzz. As Cannon went for Dragon Pulse on Camerupt, I clicked Bug Buzz on the Executor, and the Palm Tree has fallen right away. Then Cannon fired away a Dragon Pulse, which was able to get Camera a blow, but didn't do too much. As he then went for Earth Power and got Cannon down to exactly 1 HP, which was survived because of affection. But then the burn took me out right away, so what was the point? I decided to go into Soul as Crispin sent out Magmortar. I decided to try using a focus lens camera to try to get rid of it as quick as I could, and I decided to use Thunderbolt on Magmortar just to do as much as I could. Thunderbolt connected and was able to do a pretty good chunk as Magmortar set up this sunny day again, getting into the rain and having harsh sunlight now. Camera went for Earth Power and not Heatwave for some reason, and then Soul was actually able to fire off a focus blast. Locke must have been smiling upon me that day, because that was crazy. Not sure what to do. I decided to go for Psychic on Magmortar, and I decided to max Potion Soul in order to get it back up because it was the one who could probably do the most. Magmortar then went for Heatwave, which got the jolt on her immediately and got Cam and uniquely was low. Went for Earth Power again, which was just weird. As Soul went for Psychic, which was able to get Magmortar low. After that, I swapped into Vibrano. I was thinking of which moves I should go for, and I decided to go for Shadow Ball on Camera. And I decided that, I thought the best would be to use Vibrano. I decided to go for Earthquake on Vibrano, but Magmortar got Soul before I could do it with Earthquake myself. So, well, anyway. Then Vibrano went for Earthquake, was able to take out both Camera and Magmortar, leaving Crispin with only 1 Pokemon left and leaving me with only 2. As Crispin swapped into Blaziken, I swapped into my final remaining Pokemon, Night Green, having 2 fighting starters facing up with one another. That's a true story. Then I had an idea. Since Blaziken most likely gonna hit Night Green on this turn, I decided to set up a Spiky Shield as Vibrano be able to go for Earthquake without damaging Night Green because of its protection. He then decided to terrestrialize his Blaziken, and for some reason he started with his Frying Pan. Why does he do this with the Frying Pan so much? What's the deal? As Blaziken was shot out with fire, Night Green went up for the Spiky Shield, as Vibrano went for Earthquake, which was protected by Night Green, as Earthquake managed to get Blaziken down to 1 HP. Somehow it miraculously survived. Blaziken then went for the newest move, Temper Fire. However, because of the spikes, it actually damaged itself, taking Blaziken out on its own accord, getting me my first Elite 4 member win, leaving me with only 1 more left, Drayton. At last, it was time to take on the final Elite 4 member, Drayton. However, this one became a bit more interesting. For this one, I could only use Pokemon that I caught in the wild that is in the terrarium, and I had to be the one who had caught them. While that was not a problem for most of my team, I still had Chestnut, which broke both of these codes, since I did not catch it myself, and it was caught and go. Luckily, these rules only applied for during the trial, so I only brought out the Lapras I caught earlier. So I quickly defeated 3 trainers, and it was time to take on Drayton. In this battle, he led with Dragonite and Flygon, and I went for Night Green and Vibrano. Right away, I decided to set up Spiky Shield because I felt like one of them is going to attack me. And I decided to go for Rock Slide because it would be able to do solid damage to Dragonite. Then Flygon decided to go for Fire Punch, however Night Green blocked it and it damaged it with Spike. Then Vibrano landed a Rock Slide, but it didn't do that much damage at all. Then Dragonite actually went for Ice Spinner, which was able to take out Vibrano in just 1 single strike. Why in the world did they have that? Anyway, considering both were 4 times weak to Ice, I decided to switch into Snow Guy. I decided to go for Seed Bomb on Flygon since it was also because we're gonna block again. Dragonite went for Extreme Speed and Starfly went for Stone Edge, but Snow Guy was able to dodge it and hit them both with a Blizzard. However, Dragonite had a Joshi Berry, which blocked it. At least, but we had to do a good chunk of Dragonite and Flygon fell, so that was good. Night Green then went for Seed Bomb because that was the move I clicked, but it did barely anything. Then Drake swapped into Haxorus. I decided to go for Body Press in order to, as Haxorus then went for Iron Head, which took out Snow Guy right away. Wasn't expecting it to be faster, but whoopsie. Then Dragonite went for its own Ice Spinner, which did a good chunk of damage to Night Green, but we were able to take it on hand, and we landed a body press on a Haxorus, which was able to do some damage. I then swapped into Sir Joel because it's one of my other faster Pokemon, and I decided to set up a Spike Heal to block whatever move they were going to use, as I decided to go for Thunderbolt on Dragonite since it was at least neutral. I tried them for a Breaking Swipe, however, Night Green was able to block its side of it, and it was only able to hit Sir Joel, which survived a little bit more than half. It then dropped its attack, but we're special attack, so it didn't matter. It then connected with a Thunderbolt, which got Dragonite all the way down to red, as they went for Ice Spinner, earning the Spiky Shield, which was able to take it out on its own accord. He then swapped into Kingdra, which was pretty problematic because it only weakened the Dragon and I. Anyway, I went for another body press on Haxorus as I decided to go for another Thunderbolt on Kingdra. However, Haxorus went for an Earthquake, so Joel only started at 10 HP, but we were able to land a Thunderbolt, which was able to do some damage, as Kingdra went for Hydro Pump, taking out Sir Joel right away. Night Green then went for Body Press, which was able to get Haxorus all the way to red, meaning I decided to switch into Cannon, decided to go for Seabomb on Kingdra in order to do as much damage as I could, and I decided to finish up Haxorus with a Dragon Ball right away. Haxorus went for Earthquake, which got everyone low, and Kingdra went for Hurricane, however it missed. Cannon then went for Dragon Pulse, taking out Haxorus, as Night Green went for a Seed Bomb, which was able to take out Kingdra. Raider swapped into his final Pokemon, Archaludon and Sceptile. So I decided to another Spiky Shield because I was expecting a new mood to come in, and I decided it was time for some Terrassalization. Then bringing out its fullest power of Steel. However, on the very same turn, Drayton Terrassalized his Archaludon of the Dragon, the Archaludon of Steel and the Archaludon of Dragon, the two sides of Archaludon facing one another. One Night Green of Spiky Shield, which was able to block any move, except I went for Acrobatics, luckily hitting the spikes. My Archaludon was faster than theirs, so we were able to land a Dragon Pulse, which got them below half, as it just got on Stamina boost, but that doesn't really matter. Then Archaludon went for Dragon Pulse itself, but it aimed at that Night Green, which was able to block it. I wasn't really sure which move I decided to go for, but I thought since Archaludon was the one that had the best chance, so I decided to use a potion in order to get Cannon up to hell, as I went for another Dragon Pulse on their Archaludon. So one full restore later, except I went for an Acrobatics, however Night Green survived on 1 HP because of Affection. Who could have predicted? As Cannon went for the Dragon Pulse, Drayton's Archaludon was defeated, leaving him with only one Pokemon left. Then Night Green went for one more Spiky Shield, as Sceptile went for Acrobatic, which took some damage from the spike, as Cannon charged up a Terra boosted Flash Cannon, which cut Sceptile all the way to 1 HP just because of a crit. I had no idea what to do, and I decided, you know what, let luck decide. If Spiky Shield activate, they go for Acrobatics, Turbo Spike, and they defeat it. If Shield does not work, Flash Cannon take them out now. We win no matter what. So, why not let Lady Luck decide this one? And Spiky Shield worked for the second time, and Sceptile went for the Noble Acrobatics, but hit the shield with the dangerous spikes, taking it out, winning my final battle against the Blueberry Academy Elite Four. Anyways, after defeating Drayton, then I finally defeated every Elite Four member, and it was time to finally take on the final challenge against Kieran. Again, it looked very intense this time, but now let's see how it is. Who of us is truly the mightiest of them all? He led with Dragonite and Politoed, which are completely new for him, as I went with Night Queen and Snow Guy. Snow Warning once again got activated, but this time around his Politoed used Drizzle, which caused the rain. I went for Sea Politoed, and he went for Blizzard, just we get 4 times worse damage on both. Dragonite managed to take the Blizzard very well, however, due to the snow not being up. Then he used Kin on Night. However, I have a focus sash to his earlier, so he will be able to take it. The Cola went for a Weather Ball, which was able to do a good chunk of damage to Snow Guy, as Night Green went for Sea Bomb, which was able to almost take out Politoed. When it's falling down, I went for a Spiky Shield on Night Green and Blizzard on Snow Guy again, just to protect itself a little bit more. Dragonite went for Extreme Speed, however, that caused it to being affected by Spike. Now it was in a range where Blizzard would be able to kill. Blizzard fired away, hit both of them, and it was a double KO. Kieran then swapped into Incineroar and Porygon C. And Porygon C was one I was afraid of because it could seriously do a lot of damage. For a Spiky Shield just to block an attack, I decided to go for a Dazzling Gleam on Snow Guy. Unfortunately, Spiky Shield did not work this time around, and Porygon C fired off a Hyper Beam, which completely decimated Night Green. As Snow Guy went for a Dazzling Gleam, which barely broke any of them. Several of them went for Flare Blades, which decimated Snow Guy. Next, I swapped the Cannon and the Jolt, since both of them are high, because I wanted to be doing this a little fast. To go for a Sap, I decided to go for an Electroshock on Porygon and a Thunderbolt on Incineroar because good damage. Incineroar was brought to half as Cannon charged up an Electroshock, and due to the rain, fired off right away and kablamo. And Porygon Z was gone Z. So for Brick Break, which did around half to Cannon, as then Kieran swapped into Grimmsnarl. I decided to go for a Flash Cannon on Grimmsnarl because it can cause a lot of problems, and I decided Thunderbolt Incineroar again. But then Grimmsnarl set up a Reflect, however, that didn't really matter because we were using special moves. So Jolt hit Incineroar with a Thunderbolt, which brought him down to red, as Cannon fired off a Flash Cannon, which was able to almost take a Grimmsnarl with just like 1 HP left standing because of its focus dash. Incineroar then went for a Darkest Lariat, which got Cannon to 24 HP at the very same moment the rain stopped. I decided to heal up Cannon, and I decided to go for a Bug Buzz on Incineroar. As Cannon went for Sucker Punch, however, it didn't work. Bug Buzz hit Incineroar with it to take it out, bringing him down to his final Pokemon, Hydrapple, bringing his fearsome Apple Hydra into the battle. Thinking of what to do, I decided to go for an Electro on Hydrapple because because after a few attacks I knew what it would translate it into. As I decided to go for a combination of Electroshock and Thunder Wave, and he just looked completely dead with his stare. As Hydrapple got the power and became a fighting type. Why he made it a fighting type, I'm nowhere, but hey, that is just how they do it. So Jolt immediately then went for a Thunder Wave, who was able to paralyze Hydrapple, which managed to paralyze him as we shot up an Electroshock. And we did time around, we used our power up and we fight away an Electroshock on the very first turn, getting Hydrapple down to half as first went for its big Cannon, which barely scratched it, as the special attack dropped again, and we just lost the special attack. Yeah. Bringing out the power, and he immediately went for Frickle Beam. However, luckily it was the weaker one again, and it was very good. I decided to terrestrialize and Flash Cannon Hydrapple, and since Grimmsnarl could fall into anything, I decided to hit it with a Thunderbolt. So I charged up the terrestrialized power onto Cannon, bringing it its fullest power of steel. So Jolt version of Grimmsnarl with a Thunderbolt. Cannon locked on the target and charged up a steel-type tear boosted Flash Cannon straight at the Apple Hydra, and it's managed to survive on 1 HP. What the heck? Hydrapple then decided to immediately fire away at Terabla, which managed to knock out Cannon right away. But at this point, it actually didn't matter, because I still had 2 Pokemon left in the party. Sure, Jolt will be able to outspeed, land whatever move we go for, Thunderbolt, Bug Buzz, or whatever. So in case we ever miss, I go for Psychic on Soul, but we just clicked Thunderbolt. So the Jolt landed, taking it out. So it was the Spider who took down the Hydra. However, after defeating Kieran, he was completely crushed, and then just decided to be a complete jerk. I went from liking him to just disliking him raw. How rude. Dude, he has lost 1 battle. He managed to sweep the through with all of you. Then 4 was summoned by Miss Briar, and she told us that he needed our help to explore Area 0. suspected that Tarapagos could be lying somewhere in there, right? And decided to stay behind because, well, he was lazy. So it was only me, Armin, Kira, and Miss Bray that headed down into Area Zero. Eventually, we all reached the Zero Lab and we took an elevator that took us even further down to even below Area Zero. Anyway, while we were down there, of the newest type, the Stellar type. Apparently, it only gives a boost to type, not actually changing a type, which is kind of a confusing thing, but hey, what do you know? I had to defeat a couple of Stellar Pokemon down there to eventually move forward until they eventually to fate Gem that became Tarapagos. And Karen immediately threw a master ball at the guy, and well, yeez, that was insane. Immediately Karen let me throw a battle with it, and the defeated it quite easily. Then the creature got the crazy idea using all the Tracklight energy that was down there in order to make it its full form. And while it worked, it got Tarapagos to go crazy and broke it Pokeball. So then I was forced to battling it with a Pokemon that changed typings for a few times, having a shield up for pretty much the entire battle, and even getting myself so low on HP. Carmen was in the battle first, but she was defeated quite easily. It took a long time, but eventually I was able to the point where Kieran decided to help me, and together we were able to calm Terrapagos down. So I will be able to capturing it, and I have completed the final main story arc of Area Zero. And I have successfully caught Terrapagos, and we all returned to Blueberry Academy. Karen wanted to apologize for being so crazy, and we eventually made up and became friends. And that was the entire story of my Indigo Disc playthrough. There are a few things that happened afterward, but they were never relevant to the plot, so I wouldn't just not gonna mention that. Now for a quick rundown on how I thought the entire experience was. It was interesting to be able to take part in double battle. While it was difficult, it actually gave me a lot of time to think about strategy. I never usually do that. I just go for whatever Pokemon is super effective against my opponent's Pokemon and just go for that. Men det här var verkligen intressant och jag gillade verkligen hur det här hela slutade. Det med att jag lyckades köra fram med Karen och att jag blev champion of Blueberry Academy. However, that will be officially all. Thank you so much for everyone that was watching, and I'll see you all and I'll see you all a little later. Bye!